Hi, welcome. Today is day 2 of the ETF orientation. We have Athena Tsai. Hello, Ms. Athena
Hello.
Tsai. She is a PDF candidate in translation and from at National Taiwan Normal University, a current local advisor at Taipei, and we'll be covering phonological awareness. So Miss Athena, please take on over.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Good
Thank you.
morning. Yeah, so we're not used to turn on the camera, right? Danny, I cannot hear you, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to start to talk about phonological awareness, the topic today, and back to Danny's introduction. Okay, good morning. Okay, so maybe you can reply to me with texting. Yeah, good morning. Okay, so I might ask several questions, and when I ask questions, maybe I will pick some of you to talk. Then then you need to turn on your voice. You need to talk about it. Okay. I think there is a little bit lag for the Wi-Fi connection in my place. So maybe if there is a little bit slower, please take your time to wait for the Wi-Fi connection. Okay, if there is any technical problems. Okay, and I have to say that I have been teaching English for like almost 20 years. So and yeah, so I would like to share my opinions and what I have, the problems and some of the technical issues we have learned before. Okay, so now we're going to talk about phonological awareness. First of all, I would like to ask you, do you guys know what phonological awareness is? So we have to think about the questions. So phonological awareness is PA. So what is PA? And what's the difference between phonological awareness and phonics? And why is it important? So why we need to talk about it? That's the reason we are having lessons today, right? So there are 4 questions. And the first one is, what PA task can you come up with? So the first one is more difficult. We maybe leave it alone. So think about the first 3 questions. I will give you 1 minute to think about it. And maybe I will pick one of you to give me some answer or reflection or the lesson you had before. You can just share your knowledge about what phonological awareness is before I start my presentation today. Okay, so 1 minute. Okay. Okay, think about it. So what is PA? Have you ever heard this before or not? And what's your knowledge about it? Okay. So maybe I will ask Miranda.
Hi, good
Miranda.
morning.
Good morning, Miranda.
I actually do not know what phonological awareness is, but I could guess.
Yeah, good job.
So I think it's like being aware of either the use of phonics in the language or how you pronounce the phonics as you speak.
Yeah, you're right. And phonics maybe is part of phonological awareness. Okay. And
the difference is like phonics is just like the sound, and phonological awareness is maybe like the use of the sound or being aware that the sounds even exist.
yeah, you're right. Okay. Just how to put all the sounds together, something like that. Okay. So this is what we are going to talk about today. Okay. And phonological awareness is the ability to pick out and manipulate sounds. I think it's very important to manipulate sounds. It sounds very easy for you guys, but for learners, even native speakers, like kids from the United States. They have to learn how to decode and how to put the sounds together. So phonological awareness is how students pick out and manipulate sounds in spoken words. So you have to listen to the keywords carefully for spoken words. That is very important, okay? And refers to the same idea as phonemic awareness. So they are very similar. We're not going to distinguish them because we are not going to do research, but you have to know that I think Miranda did a good job guessing what phonological awareness is. That is to put the sounds together, how to read the sound, okay? And actually it is an umbrella term, including the following awareness, like you have to know what the words, because when you are talking, there is a long sentence and you put all the words together. So first of all, when students, they are listening to the sentences, they have to know what are the words within the sentences. That's the first step that they start to decode when we are talking, okay? And also the rhyming units within words, or beginning and ending sounds within words. So besides the words, they have to know what words within a sentence and what are the elements inside a word. So they have to build up awareness like this. And also they need to know within a word, there are several syllables. So what are the syllables? What are within the syllables? And within each syllables, what are the rhyme and onset? So there are phoneme sounds and words that have to recognize. These are the awareness that have to build up. That is the so-called phonological awareness. Okay, so there are features of individual phonemes such as how the mouth, the tongue, the vocal cords, and the teeth are used. So those are all smaller elements that have to pay attention to. Okay, so it's very important. Why? So this is the second question. Actually, the second question in the beginning slides, but I want to ask you why building up phonological awareness is important. Okay. Maybe I will ask Florence.
Hi. So I see you already have like kind of like the answers to it. Are you wanting me to just read off the slide or?
You can share your opinion because that is not the only answer, actually.
I see.
Your thoughts, yeah.
So I mean, I also like find it important that kids or like learners need to understand how sounds are put together when it comes to like reading or writing.
Yeah, that's the point. Reading, writing, speaking, it has everything to do with phonological awareness. Okay. So which grade did you teach when you were in the elementary school or junior high school?
No, I taught 7th through 10th grade last year.
Uh-huh. So do you think they need phonological awareness lesson?
Yeah, I think any language learner needs to understand
Mhm.
phonologic.
Yeah. So do you guys incorporate the idea in your teaching?
Um, Not so much me,
Uh-huh.
but my co-teacher did.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so maybe we can consider how to do this after the lesson. Okay, so
Mhm.
like when we say in phonological awareness has everything to do with all language abilities. First of all, speaking, reading, and like the literacy, how to read in the future. Those are all has something to do with phonological awareness. And also we say phonics sometimes, but we have to know how the words are put together and how to decode the words when we hear the word. Okay, so we have to help students, help kids to be aware that words consist of a series of individual sounds. That is what we have mentioned. So that's the reason why it's important. Okay, so there are some terms we can take a look first. The first one is phoneme. As we mentioned before, phonological awareness can also be called phonemic awareness. And what is that? When it comes to when we talk about phoneme, that is the smallest unit of speech sounds. So like PH sound, when PH sound read as that is one phoneme, even though it has two letters. Okay, so that is the phoneme. And linguistically, we use the word minimal pair, one sound that can change the meaning of the word, like cat and rat. we only have a single different phoneme, but that make the two words different. So that's the reason why it's important. You have to decode the sound. Okay. And graphing is the written form of the sound. Okay. So this is the graphing. And orthography is the spelling system. And also consonant and vowels. I think you know that. So we're not going to further explain it. Okay. And so when how students build up their phonological awareness, they have selective cue stage. At that stage, they start to distinguish the difference. Not only students, but also the kids when they are learning new words. When they hear cat and rats, maybe when they were like 3 or 4 years old, they hear the two words, they will mix up the two stuff, and they have to repeat and learn, and they know the difference between cat and rat. But we don't, when the parents actually don't teach them, and okay, the parents, they don't really teach them, but they have to recognize the differences, and they have to decode the sounds. That's the selective cue stage. So sometimes the cue is random, and sometimes they have some environmental cues, or they are being taught, and they have to distinguish the differences between the cues. Okay. And also the spelling sound stage, that is the time they start to know that sound can be decoded, be spelled. So they have at this period of time, they start to learn how to read. So readers focus on the graphics, the cues we mentioned before, to learn sound and spelling relationship. And that is what we are doing at school. We have to teach the students the mapping of sound and words, okay? And they learn how to blend words. I think that's the key today, how to blend words and make full use of their growing knowledge of sound spelling relationship, okay? And then that's the last stage, is the automatic stage. They start to know how to decode and blend the sounds automatically. So that would be the last stage, okay? And after the last stage, they will develop fluency. That's the most important stage. And that would be the objective we are seeking for, okay? So like this, I think you're kind of used to such format or outlet in your textbook. And we also teach students the differences. But I don't know whether I don't know whether you found that or not. Students are not able to use the sounds after direct instruction. They have to practice again and again. So we are going to talk about how to practice. And this is only how to recognize the differences or the similarities among vowels. There are a lot of phonemes they have to learn. Okay, so you can take a look at the formats like this. So there are tasks of PA. The first of all is the rhyme. And rhyme is, we are kind of familiar with what rhyme is, and they have to practice with rhyme. And onset is the sound before vowel, and rhyme is the sound after vowel, including the vowel. Okay, and alliteration is the first word, the first sound. So that is different from onset. So when we talk about onset rhyme, I will talk about how to like build up the concept of onset rhyme. But onset rhyme is the isolation of the beginning sound of a word from the subsequent middle and ending sound combination or rhyme. And alliteration is the repetition of the beginning sound in multiple words. So they are, onset and alliteration are different concepts, but they can also be the task of phonological awareness. And the most important thing is oral blending. So we have to blend, we have to help students to recognize the sounds. So for example, when they are learning words or the sound at, so we not only teach cat, maybe we will make them practice like sat or other at sound, or we use at to help them to blend the words together. Those are all the activity what you normally do at school, I guess. Okay, so this is just like a wrap up of what you have done before, but how? So how to build up phonological awareness. The first thing, as I mentioned, they have to decode words from sentence, and they also need to decode sounds from words. But how to decode sounds from words? They have to, first of all, distinguish the differences, divide the words from the onset and rhyme. So this is the concept need to be taught. Okay, sorry, I need to. So onset and rhyme are two parts of a spoken word, but that is the concept within one syllable. Okay, so the onset is the initial consonant sound. That can be one word or two words, like a diagram or blend, and that comes before a vowel sound. So before vowel, that's the onset within one syllable. Okay, and the rhyme include the vowel and all consonant sounds that follow it in a one syllable word or in the same syllable of a multisyllabic word. So like ugh in bug, ugh is the rhyme and but is the onset. So that's the basic concept for onset and rhyme. But onset and rhyme is the basic, that's the basic phonological skill. So when students practice it, they can like have the chance to isolate. So that how to isolate the sound, they have to know how to isolate and blend the sound together in a word. When we teach onset rhyme, we start by teaching children to blend the two parts of the word together. Then we move on segmenting. So what does that mean? I will talk about it. Okay, so it's very easy. So let's see how to blend it.
Okay, so listen to my sounds.
So can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it? Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay, so listen to my sounds. Sh, ip. Your turn.
Ip, ship.
Good job.
Okay, so I would like to ask you one question. Did you find something weird here? Let's watch again, okay?
Okay, so listen to my sounds. Sh, ip. Your turn.
Ip, ship.
Good.
Okay, something weird? How about Matt?
Yeah, I don't know if I noticed anything weird. I think you can see sort of like the onset sound and then the rhyme, and I think the teacher very quickly has them sort of put it together. But no, I'm not exactly sure what was weird about that. Sorry.
Okay, so normally when you teach students sounds or words, do you show them the letters? Yes, right. But can you see from the screen that she didn't put any words on her cards? Do you guys notice that? It's a different way. You don't need to use the way, but why? Why she did this? So let's take a look again. Okay, Matt, you are right. She is teaching students how to decode or how to like recognize the onset and rhyme. But if you notice, I don't know whether you guys noticed that she didn't write down anything here. Okay, so let's take a look again.
Okay, so listen to my sounds. Sh, ip. Your turn.
Ip, ship.
Good job.
Right? Yeah. So how about students' cards? Did you notice that? There is no words on it. Why? Why? To think about it. I'll give you 1 minute to think about it. Why there is no words? I think Danny, you can help me to pick one of them because I don't have the whole name list here. Randomly, you can use computer. Okay.
Robbie, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. I think sometimes students can confuse like the letters that they see and the sounds that they think the letters make in their heads, especially if they don't know English.
Mm-hmm. So do you think it's a good technique to help them to distinguish the differences between the onset and right and to build up the knowledge of it? Or you think it's not very good? Because I know some of the teachers, they might say that they don't have the words, how can they divide the sounds? So I would like to know your idea based on what you have taught before. Is it a too difficult question?
Can you say the question again?
Yeah, the question is a little bit complicated. Do you like this way of teaching that they don't really show the words and letters? They only use the cards to help students to divide, to decode the sounds, or you think it would be better to provide them with the words?
I think sometimes it's a mix. You have to know your audience, know the students on what works well for them. Sometimes they even use, like I use Bupamuffa to help them understand sounds in English.
Really, you use Bupamofo? How did you do that?
What do you mean? I just like write it on the board.
Uh-huh. You write Bupamofo on their book to help them to remember the sounds.
On the board, if they really don't understand it, I use it kind of as like a last resort because I don't want them to use Bupamuffa for English, but if they really
Okay.
can't sounds,
Okay.
then
Okay, good job. Okay, I was a little bit worried if you use it all the time, but yeah, when they are not able to remember it, you can use it sometimes. Yeah, but not all the time, and that is one of the ways to help them to enhance and to remember it. But you know that the pronunciation of Bupamova is actually different from the pronunciation of English sounds, right? So normally I would not suggest teachers to do that, but I know there are some sounds which are hard for them to remember and retain that can be used, okay, when necessary. Okay, so yeah, so you will see that without the words. So this is why I would like to play the video. I don't know how there actually are not many Taiwanese teachers that use such methods to help students decode the sounds. We don't have the normally in Taiwan, when we are teaching phonics, we teach them how to put the words together, but we seldom teach them how to decode the sounds. So that is something I try to emphasize and try to tell you that in this method, we don't really give students words, but we give them practice. So we can take a look at the next video. So this is how they learn. Okay.
Are you ready to become experts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready to get started?
So
Are you ready to get started? Are you ready to become experts?
Yeah.
Today we're going to work on blending two parts of a word into the whole word. So we're
Okay, so did I make it? Did you see the video? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. Okay, so you will see the teacher explaining to them, but they are native speakers, so it's fine for the teacher to explain to the students, and I will tell you if you know in Taiwan we are EFO classroom, so maybe we don't really explain in with long sentences. We can just give them some instruction and tell them something we're going to do.
We're going to work on that. We're going to use these little manipulatives here to help us identify the onset and rhyme. So look at Mrs. Fincher's. This little square is going to represent the onset, the first sound in a word. And the small rectangle is going to represent the rhyme. That's the ending part of the word. So listen to me as I do it. I'm going to model for you first, and then you're going to try some, okay? So eyes on me. Look at my board now. Okay. My two sounds, the two parts of my word are b, at. And when I blend them together, I say bat. Okay, so now you're going to try with your cards. Go ahead and bring them in front of you. Sh, ip. Your turn.
Ip. Ship.
Good job. Pull them back apart. My sounds are f, ish.
Ish. Finish.
Good job. Pull them back apart. My sounds are sh, arc.
Arc. Shark.
Good job. Now you try some. My sounds are s, and.
And. Sand.
Nice job. My two sounds are s, eel.
Eel. Seal.
Nice job.
Okay, so this is about phonological awareness, okay, and how to divide the onset and rhyme. In that is a native speaker classroom. So we are going to talk about in our EFO classroom, what can we do, okay? So let's continue. So when to teach on onset rhyme, we can take a look at this chart that students need some background knowledge before onset rhyme are really taught. But you need to know that first of all, they need to have the concept of syllables. So as I mentioned, when they listen to a sentence, they need to know that there are words in the sentence. And when they know there is a word, they have to know that there are some elements within a word. First of all, it's a syllable. So within a syllable, there are sounds. Okay, so there are consonant and vowels that they blend the sounds together. So they have to know within a syllable there are what segments are inside, how to blend and delete. So what we're talking about now is how to blend and delete the sound. That is very important, and that they don't really naturally know that. So you can see that is a native speaker classroom. So even for native speakers of English, students, I don't know, when you're kids, I don't know whether you remember or not, you still need to learn how to decode them before you need to learn how to read words, right? That is part of the teaching of literacy, okay? And then the next step is onset rhyme. That's the reason why we start here, because you know how to teach phonics. I know at school, you and your teacher, your LET, have students practice syllables a lot, but onset rhyme is a concept they have to learn, and how to blend the onset rhyme, how to segment them, and how to recognize them, and how to produce them. So this is the second part of phonological awareness, okay? Learning phonological awareness. And then they have to know the phoneme within the onset rhyme. So they have to identify first, last, and middle sounds. So there are different sounds within a word. And then they have to know the phoneme and segment and how to blend. And then the last step is manipulation. What's the manipulation? They can delete, they can add, they can substitute, change, and they can create words. Sometimes we use noun words to help students to create and put the words together, or put the sounds together, something like that. So this is the stage of how students build up their phonological awareness. And so how to teach? First of all, you need a word list. The word list can be real words and non-words. I will talk about that. And the word list is like this. So I will share it. So this is the word list. This. Can you see it? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm kind of busy. Okay. So like this. So I think it's easy to get a word list. And I think you have the word list within your mind, but you can also look for the word list online. Okay, so it's easy to download something that can help you. And like 3 phoneme words, so the words with 3 phoneme, and the 3 and 4 phoneme words within with ending blends. So what is the ending blends? Is like at the ending part, I have some blends that have to put together, like rest or past or something like that. Okay, and the 3 and 4 phoneme word with beginning blends. So they have to blend the beginning part. Okay, and also 3 and 4 words with ending blend. So a lot of them with like different phonemes. And also we can look for, if your students are advanced or higher graders or even junior high school students, you can put harder words, like words with 2 or 3 syllables that will help them to learn it better and more solid. Okay, so this is the onset rhyme. So first of all, you need a word list, and when you're teaching, you have to create some like emotion or something. That's the roller coaster. We can take a look of the demonstration of the teaching strategies of roller coaster. So let's take a look.
I'm going to use the roller coaster strategy to break a word into onset and rhyme. In a word, the onset is the first part of the word that comes before the vowel, and the rhyme is the vowel sound and everything after. Watch as I segment night into onset and rhyme. It. It. The onset is The rhyme is it. The word is night.
Okay, I know it sounds too easy for you guys, but you have to think about students. For them, it's like they have to know how to decode them. So with the sounds like this, you can help them to recognize the highlight and different and when to divide it before they are able to do so. Okay, so like the beginning sound, middle sound, and end sound, you have to find some highlight for them to recognize the differences. That is one of the strategies. Actually, there are a lot of strategies, but this is one of the simplest one. And then you have to teach explicitly, as the video we watched. Okay, the video we watched, the teacher first of all telling the students what we are going to do today, and then make them practice. So first of all, you have to review. That's very important. The relevant prerequisite skills, what they have learned before. For example, when you are teaching at, you need to talk about cat because that's the simple words everybody knows. But when they notice there is an at within cat, then you can talk about something, some words with at, then they will know at. So they have to relate what they have learned before. And the second one is introduce them to the concept of onset rhyme. So in Taiwan, maybe you don't really explain a lot, but you have to let them know that we can divide the sounds. That's the only concept you need to tell them. And you can use the word card, or you can use the blank card like she used, or from word card to blank card. What does that mean? You use the word cat and they know that they can divide cat into at. Then use the blank cards to substitute, to change to other sounds. That's one of the ways you can help students understand your instruction. So in EFO classroom, if you, I don't know whether you use whole language or not. We hope you can use whole language, but it's hard for students to understand what you are talking about. Then you need to divide your instruction into simple and short and brief ones. Okay, so this is something different. You have to bear in mind that whether the students can understand what you are talking about or not. You have to divide your instruction and make it easier and relatable. Okay, and then you have to model the skill like what the teacher did, and invite your student to try blending onset and rhyme with you. Sometimes you can make them do it by themselves, but don't just call on like one or two of the students. Have the whole class talk about it. But remember, sometimes you may think that the whole class are able to answer to your question, why there are still a bunch of students that are not able to do it, because they listen to their advanced students answer and repeat together. So sometimes you need to like ask in smaller groups. Okay, if you don't want to like break down their confidence, you practice with the whole class and then smaller groups and then individual students. That is the techniques when it comes to teaching. Okay, but you need to invite them to do it together with you and build up their confidence. Okay, and ask them to do the activity on their own with your feedback. And maybe you can have some pair work after practice with the whole work. And we have watched the video, and you have to revise it a little bit to into your classroom, to your depending on the ability of your students. Okay, and the last stage is you need to provide independent student practice. So like some activities. Let me show you. Okay. So this is the onset rhyme detective. Can you see it? Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so actually you can just Google it. There are lots of resources, and this is one of the sites I download the PDF file. So it's not very hard to look for resources online, but you need to know what you are going to do and what kind of resources you need. And this is the teacher instruction of onset rhyme detective. So like students, when they work in pairs, you can give each student the pair a set of the student activity page. You can take a look of the pages. Okay, so you can make your own one, just like the words you need, or you can use the prepared one online. Okay, so this is the practice they are going to do. So they will have the two different pages, and it's very easy for a student to do it. Okay, so for example, student A will say the onset word is b, and the rhyme is all. So what's the word? So that it's like you can ask the student to circle it, okay, but all. So they have to look for the word ball. So the practice can be played like in pair, and one of the students said but all, and the other students circle the words, okay, or check the words, something like that. And you can change the rules and regulations and whatever you like, but the concept is divide the words. We don't say ball, we say but all. That is one of the way, and it's not necessary to be read as but all the time. But when you use it, they will start to think about how to decode the word ball, and they practice it. So that's when you need to meet the purpose, the objective of making students being aware of onset and rhyme. That is the way they can do it. So this is the worksheets you can use, something like that. Okay, so student can practice and take a look of the PPT slide. Okay. Okay, so you will see that the onset and rhyme like bat or shell, so they can practice several times. Okay, and after they have the concept of onset and rhyme, sometimes we divide it into like 3 blank papers or 4 blank papers to help them to decode more and more. So this is the first step I have to mention, that if they are able to do it, then we will have other practice after it. Okay. So this is the onset and rhyme. And the other task, there are other tasks of phonological awareness besides onset, rhyme, and blending, but we don't have that much time to talk about all of them. And there are 3 examples. The first one is like the oral segment. For example, tomato. So how to segment tomato, how to teach students to separate the syllable. What are the methods you have? How to make them aware of the elements within the word tomato. How? Danny, could you help me? Thank you.
Elizabeth?
Oh, thank you.
Or
Hello,
Dewey?
can you hear
Oh,
me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tomato.
Yeah. So how do you teach the words? Or you want to emphasize not only teaching the words, but also teach the students of awareness of syllables? What are the ways you would use? For example,
I would start with the first syllable and
don't be nervous, just share.
I would first go over the first syllable of tomato. So, and then perhaps use my hands like the lady showed in the video.
Yeah.
For like each syllable. So maybe go up for the toe and then go down for the may and then up again for the toe, because then it'll be like very distinct segmentation for the kids.
Good job. You make use of the roller coaster techniques. Yeah, you're a smart student. Okay. Yeah, so we talk about phonological awareness within one syllable, and now there are 3 syllables. So it's good. You can just help them to divide them and with different sounds. That's very important. Yeah, that is one of the way. And some of the teachers, they underline the syllables like tomato, 3 syllables. And there are still other ways they can use to help students to have the awareness of the syllable, like they can clap. So when they clap, they know that is 1 syllable, and they can say the first sound, say each word sound by sound, or toe, just like what we have mentioned. They have to divide the syllable, divide the sounds, and put them together with different ways. And as you mentioned, you use different like tomato or tomato, just like divide the sounds, and then they will be aware of it. And actually, after you help them to divide the sound, decode the sound, you have to read the words together again. Okay, so they will know the whole word and how to divide them. So that's the oral segmentation. That is one of the techniques. And also phonemic manipulation. I say that would be the last stage for the students after they have built up the sound concept, the phonological awareness concept, and the onset rhyme concept. You have to help them to manipulate the sounds. For example, bike or stop. How to? So I will give you guys 1 minute to think about that. If you are going to manipulate the sound, how to manipulate it? For example, one of my example is say the word without the first sound. So when I show the student bike, they don't read the first word, they don't read the first sound, but they only read Ike. That's an activity or games to manipulate the sound. And that's the deletion part, delete the first sound so they can manipulate the sound. That is one of the way. Say the word without the first sound. And are there other ways to manipulate the sound like bike or stop? Okay, think about it. 1 minute. Okay. and then I will ask one of you or two of you to share your way or method. And if you, it will be better if there is any volunteer to share your experience or what you have learned from your LET with us. Okay, so you can tell me 1 minute later. Think about it. How to manipulate the sound. For example, bike, and the activity is like, don't read the first sound. So they have to say Ike, okay, something like that. Okay, volunteer. Volunteer, is it raise hand? So what should we do, Danny? Can you help me?
I didn't see who's first, but Tyler, that's a great photo.
Okay, thank
How
you.
about you?
Thank you very much.
Thanks. That's some random picture from college. I forgot that I had that on there. Um,
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, for phonemic manipulation, a lot of the exercises are like, you change the first sound, so
Yeah.
it's a similar sounding word. You're like, and I saw May wrote in the chat, like changing it from bike to hike and changing it to the word hike, or stop, trying to change this sound to something like up, or something to work on that last sound with different beginning sounds. Or you can also do it vice versa, trying, if you're working on the first sound, go and change the ending sound as well.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Yeah, so there are a lot of things you can do, like we have mentioned from this column. You see deletion, adding, substitution, and you provide lots of examples for the for a single word. And also we make it into activities and games, but you have to think about this before you design your activities and games. So those are all good ideas. Okay. And also just like deletion or substitution, you can also replace the first sound in the word with S. So student will change bike into like psych. Is it okay to change bike into psych? Just let me know if you think yes or no. A word math. Yeah, good job. Okay. So do you think it's okay to use like pseudo words or fake words or non-words? Just leave your comments, okay? Let me see. No? Okay. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, at least that it's okay. Right? Yeah. Okay. I would like to ask, is Nini, PH Nini?
Yes.
Yeah, why you don't think it's not good?
I mean, I think you can use it, but I think they're too young. Like they're gonna be too confused about like, and when they don't have the meaning, they just have too many things to learn. Like this thing, like we skip it for now, but in the future, if they want to use it, they can, or like if they want to learn it, they can, but just like don't confuse them with like too much information.
You think they will be confused?
Yes.
Okay. So which grade did you teach?
I mean, I teach 1st to 6th grade, so.
1st to 6th, okay.
Yes.
So you think all of them are too young?
I mean, 5th and 6th might be able to, but my 1st and to fourth would probably not be
Yeah.
suitable for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with your idea. It's very important to know your students' like background knowledge or abilities before. For example, that's the reason why I asked you which grade you teach. For the first and second graders, they have to build out the concept of phonics. I think it's a little bit slow in Taiwan. We teach from later names from A to Z, and first grader, and the second grader they learn the sounds, and then the third grader they start to put all the sounds together, like the basic blending skills. And it's like fifth or sixth graders, like what we mentioned, it's the last step, the last part of phonological awareness. So it would be better for students, they have already learned the skill, or they have know how to at least put the basic three sounds together before you use pseudo words or noun words. Yeah, and I like your guys' responses. You say that it's very important to let them know that is not a real word. I think sometimes when they are practiced with a lot of words, you don't need to further explain, and that's for the students to like get used to the sound quickly. They don't really recognize all the words, they recognize the sounds, and that doesn't matter when all the words are put together. But when the words are like taught one by one, they should be explained a little bit. I agree with it. Okay, so yeah, okay. So Taylor, you also asked first grader, is it a word or not? Yeah, I think it's good. You guys pay a lot of detailed attention to your students' responses. I think you guys must did a good job. That's the reason why you guys are FET now, right? Yeah, so good job, okay? And the last one is oddity task. I think you know this. Oddity task is like pick up the one with different onset or different lines. So like fan, leaf, and fish, they have to circle leaf, something like that. So that's the oddity task. So those are tasks maybe a lot of you are familiar with. I just want to remind you that they have to build up the awareness of how to decode the words, and you have to come up with the ideas. And there are two approaches, okay? The synthetic approach and an analytic approach. Actually, they are just like the bottom-up approach and top-down approach when it comes to phonological awareness teaching. It's like reading. If this is a bottom-up approach, we start with sounds, with words, and then the whole context. But if this is a top-down approach, we start with the context and we need to contextualize it. So we can take a look of the details. So synthetic approach, the letter names are taught first. So we start with the letter names, and the sounds that each letter stands for is taught and reviewed. So for lower graders, as we mentioned, like the third graders or fourth graders, we teach them how to put the words together. Maybe we start with letter sounds. Okay, so this is the synthetic approach. And the principle of blending sounds to form words is taught, and opportunities to blend unknown words in context are provided. So sometimes you can use unknown words. And actually, I personally encourage teachers to use more unknown words. You don't need to worry about whether they understand it or not, since they can get familiar with the sounds of the word. Like after 1 or 2 years later, when they learn the words, they are familiar with the sounds, they will be able to attain the words faster than they have never heard about it. So unknown words are, I think you can use them, okay, more frequently, okay. You don't need to worry whether they can remember it or not, since you're teaching phonological awareness, okay. So this is the part I think I would like to emphasize. And an analytic approach may be used for advanced students. When they know more words, they have to like recognized from all kinds of words. So there is a list of words with common phonic elements, and then they are asked to examine the words and discover what they have in common, focusing on finding a similar sound. And when the common sound is discovered, the spelling that stands for the sound might be discussed. So they start to read the words by themselves and put the sounds together. by themselves. So that will be for the approach for the advanced students. And if your students is like in the middle, not advanced, and they need to like build up some basic concept, you can use both approach alternatively when needed. Okay, so you will see which is the better way for this lesson. Okay, so so as I mentioned, I think we can give students more challenging phonics words, not only the words they have learned, not only the words from textbook, but also the words not that high frequency word can also be used. Okay, and they can get familiar with the sounds. That would be the first step. You know, when you were a baby, a kid, you don't learn the words first, you learn the sounds first. And when you hear a sound, you start to guess what's that. You hear the sound like I say cat, then you see a cat. You don't know cat means cat. Maybe you will make a guess what cat is. And then next time you see a rat and you hear rat, you start to distinguish the differences. So we start to learn things from our hearing, from our ears. So we have to bear this in mind that it's not that important for students to remember all the words, but it will be helpful if they listen to the sounds, the words as much as possible. Okay, so I think give students more challenging phonics that will help them to learn more in the future and allow for differentiation. This is something I would like to remind you, because you know the students' ability in one classroom in Taiwan is that different. So how to differentiate is the biggest lesson in our class. And you can discuss with your like LET and team teaching, or like divide the students into several groups, and you will see I think it's very important to teach the slower learners basic phonological awareness skills, how to manipulate the sound, how to blend the sounds. It's very important. So sometimes if there are some slow learners in class, you can also discuss with your LET, maybe some of the lessons they don't need to participate and they can be divided and learn with you. And sometimes there can be advanced learner, they are divided learn with you. You can just like discuss how to help the students in the big class and how to differentiate their learning. That is also very important. And this is the basic skill. So for the lower learners, you have to bear in mind that if they are not able to learn, sometimes maybe they're not able to say it, they are not able to distinguish the sounds. So that's the reason why we need to help them with. Okay, and then these are the challenging examples. You don't just use one syllable words, you can use two syllable words or some of the difficult words. Okay, and you just read them and make them just like practice, something like that. Okay, so but when we are teaching, there are like procedures. We start from the easiest one to the more difficult one. So maybe we start from single syllable words to multiple syllable words, maybe longer words. Okay, so they can start to guess what syllables are within the words. Sometimes you can write down the words, ask them to like underline the words, or sometimes you just read it and ask them how many syllables are there. So you can use different way. Orally, with written form, you can just like change your methods each time. Okay, and we start from high frequency where the words students are familiar with, they can make a guess, and it's easier for them to decode because they have known the words, what are the words within it. And then to low frequency words. The low frequency word for them are like unknown words, but they will start to make a guess, start to know how to decode them. And we start to, sometimes we use words, the real words, we have to use the real words first. And if it is necessary, we can use nonsense words. And when we are using nonsense words, basically for advanced students to practice more, okay? So there are some nonsense word tasks, and also there are some combinations which are often used for teachers online. You can also look for it. So you can take a look of the short vowel words, long vowel words, or diagram or blends. Those are the words for them to learn how to decode the onset rhyme. So we have mentioned rhyme, alliteration, onset, oral blending, oral segmentation, phonemic manipulation, and oddity task. There are some techniques we have mentioned. So now it's 11 o'clock. Are you going to take a break?
Yep, that one's up to you. If you'd like
Up
to
to
do
me.
a 10-minute break or something, and then we finish up at 12 for a 1-hour lunch. So
Okay.
would you like
Okay.
to do a 10-minute break, or how long would you like?
I think I would like to
If a
make
break.
okay. I would like to give you a 10 minutes break, but not a whole break. I would like you guys to think about it, to think about the task I have mentioned. So after the break, I will pick two of you. I think it's good enough. Two of you to share how to make use of the task we mentioned. You can use the real word or the nonsense words to give student a task or an activity to practice. Okay, so it's a simple instruction. You don't need to worry, and you don't need to worry about that. Think about what you have done before. And I would like to emphasize on this part, diagrams and blends, which is a little bit difficult for the students. So how you teach it with the tasks we mentioned. We just mentioned. We mentioned 6 tasks before. Okay, so I think we can come back at 11:15. So I give you 3 more minutes to think about it, okay, and take a break for 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. So we'll come back at 11:15 and with your answer. Okay. Okay. Think about it. Okay. So what should I do for the break?
You'll be free to
Okay.
prep for the next part. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Hello, everybody. Are you back? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. I just want you to think about how you did this in classes and what you can make use in your future classes for the future students. And I know there are some of you teaching junior high school students, right? No? So yes or no? Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So I would like to emphasize that for junior high school students, sometimes we forgot that they really need it, especially for the slower learners. And, for junior high school students, it seems that some of them have already given up. I don't know whether you have such students or not, but this will be a big help for them to start to really learn English. And a lot of them from remote places, remote countrysides don't have the resources. But we know that there are internet online resources. So, well, I will talk about this a little bit later and talk about how you can help them with the online resources to build up, to practice by themselves. Okay, so this is what we would like to do. Some of us don't know yet. Okay. It doesn't matter. You can think about it. I think for all the students with different backgrounds and levels, they all need it, but you have to discover it. Okay. You have to know that students need it. Okay. So back to my question, we have mentioned some of the tasks, and there are some nonsense words. You don't need to use the nonsense words, but I would like to ask you to give me one demonstration or explanation of how you can do it, or how you can help your students build up better phonological awareness with small task, whatever you like. Okay, so I'm going to pick where's the
I don't mind sharing if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. Miranda, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I teach second, fourth, and sixth grade. I might teach different grades this year, but that's the ones I taught last year. So I do a lot of phonics in these classes. So I thought it might be good to teach, they'll know the words in their phonics textbook, but it might be good to do the fake words with the real words and have them kind of match up the matching sounds. So let's say you have stot and spot. And they have to match up the end sound or the beginning sound, kind of in a matching game. So they'll have to know how they sound at the end to match them up.
It sounds you made effort to help students with how to build up the sounds, how to put the words together, right? Yeah. So what progress from your observation, what progress did they make besides their improvement of they know how to put the sounds together? Are there other progress or anything that will help you with teaching in other parts?
I think the biggest place where I saw improvement might have been sixth grade, because we taught long vowel sounds and short vowel sounds in sixth grade. And I got to there's some tricky words that are hard to pronounce from one another, and I got to help them practice more thoroughly with words like sheet or shirt or skirt, and making sure that they have the differentiation in the sounds for those words.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
How did you notice they need it?
They would often giggle at each other when we have long vowel sounds, especially with a sheet of paper, because it would often sound like not a great word.
Yeah,
so I'm okay, since we're learning long and short vowels, the curse word is a short vowel sound. But
Yeah.
a piece of paper is a long vowel sound and they're not the same letter. So let's differentiate how we say it so that people don't get confused.
Yeah. By the way, I think you did a good job. You know, it's very important that you observe from students' difficulties and you know what they need and you teach them. So I think Miranda, you really did a good job. And I would like to tell you guys one extra thing. You know, it's very hard for Taiwanese to distinguish the differences between long vowel and short vowels because of Chinese vowels. Do you guys know that? So it's really hard for us. Actually, it's really hard for us to distinguish sounds like yi sound, long vowel yi sound, and like sheep and sheep. It's hard. It's hard for the students to recognize the differences. Just by the way, I would like to let you know that because of Chinese sounds. Yeah. Okay. And also, and I need one more volunteer. Okay. If there is no volunteer, I need to ask for volunteer. Catherine? Catherine, right? No? How about Jennifer?
So we're talking about vowels, right? And the short and long distinguishing. So that for me, I would often make it a bit of a game. I don't know if my internet connection is really great, so I don't know if you guys are hearing me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'm
great.
nodding
So
my head.
yeah, a lot. I would often be gamifying these sorts of like short, long vowel tasks where they would where I ask them to where it's either I ask them to listen to my words and like tap the board for like compete in tapping the board for which vowel I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do get a kick out of it once they figure out what the difference is. Yeah, so it's a lot of it's a lot of gamification because a lot of it's like using minimal pairs for them to really hear the difference between the short and the long vowel.
Yeah. So what difficulties they have from your
At first the kids feel like they're just guessing, but as the game goes on, they kind of start learning from the mistakes that they make at first.
Yeah. So they make progress, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you like relate like when you teach do you teach all the vowels together or one by one?
We do them one by one. This is mostly supplementing what the students are learning in class. Yeah.
Yeah, so based on the textbook and the words from their textbook, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So yeah, good. So I think it's very easy for you. So we're going to talk about further how to like just like form an activity based on what we have mentioned today. And before that, I would like to share some different kind of activity and task you can use. Okay. For example, this is a game you can use with you can play with all the classmates, or you can make them play within smaller groups if they have iPad or some electronic devices, and they can play the games like if they have a line with the three dots, then they will win something like that. So they can click something like that. You can click and read the words, then they can cover it, something like that. This is the first group. And the next one, maybe I have to click on the black one and read the word Sue and cover it. So this is the chess place. They can a chess game, sorry, a chess game they can play. Okay, so for example, this is one. So we start with like the activity for the whole class or for bigger groups. So you can consider it first. Okay, and then there are some other kinds of activities like don't click. Sorry, technical issue. Can you see it? The PPT slide. Yes, okay. And then the pair work. So pair work is like this. I don't know what's wrong with the PowerPoints. Okay, so you as we mentioned, how we teach them the differences, we teach them how to like distinguish the differences, how to put the words together, and based on your students' abilities, you well or template. For example, they can write down the words that have to practice on the little sheets, okay, like this, okay, and they paper, scissors, stone. And then maybe the winner or loser, you can decide how to play the game. The winner or loser need to read the words and they can move on and move on. And the one who moved to the circle or the middle part of the circle, they will win, something like that. So this is one of the games they can practice and they can read together. And you and your LET will walk around and listen to their practicing. You will notice that some of the students, they are still not able to read it. And then you repeat and enhance the practice with them. So this is the pair work. So we start from bigger group work to pair work and then individual practice. And we know a lot of schools that have iPad or some electronic devices students can use in classes. So you can download apps like this. And this kind of apps, this is a array. I think there are lots of all kinds of app, and this kind of app you can practice what we have mentioned. And for the slower learners, you can also encourage them to play such games with their electronic devices. Okay, so like short vowels, long vowels, phonics, and chunking. So those are all the ideas have been put into the game, so they can play alone with. So something like that. These are what we mentioned, the vowels, the onset, the rhyme, something like that. Okay, so you can also download the app by yourself and play it and see whether it is suitable for your students or not. Okay, and it is not necessary to be used in class. It can be used after class or whenever you want to help the student with the sounds. And sometimes some of the teachers play with the student individually so they can gain confidence and they will learn through learning. So this is one of app. Okay, so there as I mentioned, there are a lot of online resources. So how to make use the online resources as part of your lesson plan. So this is the last part we're going to do today. Okay, so there are some steps. Now I would like to divide you into, I think 9 groups. Okay, so maybe 3 to 4 people in a group. Danny has already helped me to divide the classroom, so more than 2 people. So there will be 3 or 4 people in a group. And I would like you to decide a 10-minute PA lesson. And before that, you have to decide the background knowledge and the level of your student, like it's the 3rd graders or 5th graders, and think about what they have learned and what you are going to teach. So it's very important to write down your objective. So you have to write down the background knowledge of your student level or grades or objective, what kind of classes, you can analyze it a little bit. And then there are online resources. I have provided you with one link you can see from the chat bot. And there are a lot of online resources. You have to set up your objective and what are the sounds or what are the ability you want them to learn today. For example, we talk about the concept of onset and rhyme. So if you're going to talk about, if you're going to teach students the concept of onset and rhyme and what resources can you use and what instruction you are going to do. So think about the 3P, the 3P, the procedure. Within 10 minutes, you still need to run through and prepare students for production. So prepare and presentation and production. Okay, so think about it. Maybe if you think 10 minutes is too short, it can be 10 to 15 minutes. And I will ask you about your plan. You have to write it down. Okay, and if there is any worksheet or activity you want to use, you don't need to prepare all of them because it's only a 10 to 15 minutes practice. But I want to I want you to make it more complete and think about what we talk about today and discuss with your partner. And you will be divided into smaller chat rooms, and then you will help us. And I will get into your chat room to discuss with you. And once you have complete the lesson plan, just let me know and write it. You can use a file and write it down and let me know. I will discuss with you. Okay. So now you are going to be divided into groups. So Danny. Okay. So take a look at the links here. Okay. See the chat bot. So how do I get into their chat rooms?
It will be, because it had to be done manually, I'll kind of float around.
Okay.
Like it'll have to be kind of press the button. So
Okay.
if that's okay,
Okay.
I at a random time might pop
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Unless I assign everyone. The only thing is like anyone could go anywhere then.
Okay.
So I'll assign you to like room 1 and then room 2 over like a 2-minute, well,
Okay.
probably like a 1-minute period if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes would be better.
Okay. All right. See you soon. How long would you like the overall break rooms to be?
I think 15 minutes. 15
15
to 20
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Alrighty.
don't know whether how fast they can complete it. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes.
All right.
Mhm.
So, all right. See you soon. It'll be room 1 will be available.
Maybe 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So I have to. Am I in the room 1 or not?
Yeah,
Yes.
room 1 you'll be able to go into at the moment
So
with
how?
Maya.
I'm
There should be a join button or like at the bottom some kind of break rooms button if you move the mouse.
I see 5 participants in this. Am I in the room or not?
Not at the moment. I think, well,
But I can see Lisa, Catherine, and Maria.
they're still due to go to their
Okay.
2 rooms. Although I'll if they don't go soon, I'll move their teammates or their other into
Oh,
another room if they don't
okay.
show
Okay,
up.
I'm going to room 1. Okay, I
Okay.
see.
All right. See you soon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Trista.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
just
I had
gonna.
some technical issues, so I had to switch devices real quick.
Oh, no worries. I'll just assign you to a room at the moment. Some people I think are having issues or
Okay.
not signing into like some of the rooms, so it'll be a bit miscellaneous at the moment. All right, see you soon.
Thanks.
I'm back.
Are you good for room 2?
Yeah. So when I come
Okay.
back, just allocate me to another room.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No worries. The only thing is that room 2 now has 3 people just because there's a couple of people that haven't attended. So I had to move their teammates around.
Maybe you can go to room 3 first.
Alrighty. Uh, it will be okay. Yep, room 3. So
It shows that I'm assigned to room 1.
there we are.
Yeah, I see
Now
it.
you're all set. There we are. See you soon. I'm sorry, I didn't know if it would suddenly switch like that, or whether you'd have
You can
60 like
switch like that. Yeah.
a
Yeah, but we
60
have to
second
come
warning.
back at 11:50, so we need to do it as fast as possible. Yeah.
Okay. The next room available is room 7 actually,
Okay.
because it's
Okay.
kind of it's
It doesn't
odd
matter.
numbers at the moment.
Another room.
So move to 7. There we are. All right.
I'm back.
Room 8. Yeah.
Okay.
And now. There we are.
Danny wouldn't have enough time to get into the rooms, and Jennifer is going to share her lesson plan with everybody. So is it possible to, I don't know, to put everybody back here?
To have everyone
Make it
back
so
in.
easy.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah. So Is it everybody to call everybody back here?
Yeah, everyone should be back within 60 seconds.
Okay. So we are going to listen to Jennifer sharing her lesson plan. Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hi,
This
thank you,
is
Jennifer.
Thank you. This is a combination of a activity that me and Caroline like combined together with my sort of minimal pairs phonics presentation and then Caroline's activity. So it's actually so Caroline and we both do a lot of phonics work with elementary school kids. So these sort of minimal pair presentations are very versatile and can be used for a multiple, different sorts of activities. So Caroline's activity is sort of like four corners. If you guys are familiar with the game Four Corners, you kind of say something and the kids go to like four corners of the room. So with this, the students will line up in the center of the room, and then the teacher will say the word for one of the pictures. As you can see, we have a bunch of different pictures. So these all are focusing on the adjective, the consonant blends with L. Okay, and then so the teacher will say one of these words, and then the students close their eyes, and then they move to the side of the room that they think the sound is. So, for example, if I say the word block, then the kids will be moving to the left side of the room, basically. Yeah. And then once we get through all of the different combinations, like for example, like block, clock, and then like blue, glue, stuff like that. And then we get finally to the very last slide has all four of the blend sounds, and the students will move into four corners of the room.
They must love this activity. They can rush around the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a very interesting activity, and it's very important to like organize all the club plus sound together. So this is a blending I haven't mentioned, but you guys pay attention to it, and students need to practice it. And that's the reason why I would like you to share, because you have made the PowerPoints and you can talk about it clearly. And I would like to mention one thing you guys need to bear in mind that when student playing, they are playing such games. Some of them, especially the slower learners, they will follow the advanced learner and rush around the rooms. How are we going to make sure whether they will be able to master it or not?
So that's why Caroline suggested that they close their eyes, is because once you don't know which direction the more advanced kid is going, then you kind of have to trust your own instinct.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the reason why I would like to ask it. So maybe they don't need to close their eye in the beginning when they are playing against, then they need to close their eyes. So you will see who are still not able to master it. Yeah, good job. And there is another question mentioned by one of the groups. They say that in many of the classes, we speak the words and ask the students to recognize it, but sometimes we have to make them use it or like talk about it. So maybe you can develop some of the activities to create words based on what you have taught them. Okay, so this is what you can consider for the follow-up activities. And basically, this is very interesting, and that can help students recognize the differences between the sounds. Okay, good job. So we are going to wrap up the lesson this morning. Okay, so you guys all have very good ideas, and it's a little bit run out of time to make you guys share. I originally planned to like pick some of the group to share, but we don't have enough time. Yeah, we're going to give you to have launch as soon as possible. Okay, so let's talk about the do's and don'ts. That's the last part today. So when you're teaching phonological awareness, there are some things you have to bear in mind. First of all, the do's. So you have to provide a built-in review before any lesson start. You need to review. You need to based on what students have learned before scaffolding their abilities. So built-in review of previous taught sound spelling in each lesson. That's the first step. And you have to pay attention to students' like reaction. You have to adjust the pace and scope of learning according to their needs and regroup when needed. Sometimes the group is some of the group doesn't work well. You have to like put the members, regroup them. Okay, and also you have to link your phonics instruction to spelling. That's the part we just mentioned. They need more production. So you have to bear in mind that after you read the words, they circle the words, they did something, whether they will be able to produce it. So think about production more, okay? So these are the do's you have to do. And don'ts, I think you have to give them some time. This is the most important thing. So that's the reason why I highlight. You don't need to correct them immediately. Sometimes you give them some time to self-monitor and self-correct. And they will be able to if you give them some time. So that's the last part I would like to remind you when it comes to instruction of phonological awareness. Okay? So I would like to be a good speaker to let you have lunch on time. Okay, I think that's all for today's this morning's presentation, and we will talk about classroom management in the afternoon. Okay, so I think that's all for the presentation this morning. Thank you very much. Okay, you can take a break, have your lunch, okay, or take a nap. Remember to come back. Okay, see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Athena. Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
1 p.m.
Okay, 1 p.m. Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you guys
Bye-bye.
in the afternoon.
Hi, Athena, quick question.
Yeah.
So the checkers game you showed, what platform was that made on?
Which one? You mean
The
this one?
checkers game you showed about like playing as red and blue and black.
You want this one?
But like what platform did you use to make it?
I think I can give you the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. So you
just copied it. Yeah, you can just copy it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
maybe is it possible for me to leave wait for me? Or you give me your email address here and I email you.
Sure. Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Florence, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll email you my PowerPoint for
yeah.
Okay, the one you
Okay,
want.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're
See you
welcome.
later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey,
Hi.
Miss Athena.
Yeah.
So I'll ask about the co-host situation, but I'm thinking that if I make you a co-host, it might be easier for you to be able to just jump in room to room.
Okay.
So I'll
Sorry
ask
to make
about
you so busy.
no. Like I think it will
Yeah.
be more efficient that way. Like
Okay.
I think for you, like time wise, you
Uh-huh.
would be able to go through like each meeting and everything,
Okay.
and rather than you having to go to the meeting, pop back
Uh-huh.
into the main room, and then go. I think you would be able to just kind of go to the settings or whatever,
Okay.
and then do it like so.
Mhm.
I'll ask about that just permission wise.
Yeah.
So and I'll get back to you at 1 o'clock. But yeah. Anyway, have a good lunch
So I
and talk to you in a
am
bit.
co-host now.
Are you at the moment?
Co-host. So I'm able
Oh,
to control it now or later.
not at the moment. I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, oh, let me just